Being recorded.
Yeah, hello everybody to another session of the XStepCafe. As announced, I'll start with a small announcement. I already have announced this in my blog, so it's just hopefully everybody can see this. Yeah, what did I do in the past? I got some complaints, and also I found out suddenly that some recordings that I've done in the past have been lost by the Adobe system. So I thought it is a good idea to have a backup. So I sort of got screen grabs of all these videos in a normal format, and then I uploaded them to YouTube. So, and I also changed it on my blog totally to just only use these YouTube videos. And the result is that you have here in the blog always the video window, which you can just play. Just press play, and then it will start. And you can also just jump to YouTube by this link, and then you got this playlist that I have here. So you can really scroll through all the XStepCafe sessions, like the famous one here with the weighing scenario. So it's all there. So I hope you like this, and which is more convenient probably in the future. Any questions on this or comments? Okay, if not, I'll stop sharing and hand over to Uwe, who has something to say as well today. So, Uwe, it's yours.
Okay, hello. Today, this is Uwe speaking. I want to give you a brief update concerning the following topic. So, it's about how could you prevent the usage of content that belongs to SXS versions that have not been released, so that are invalid, in PI sheets and work instructions. Perhaps you remember a couple of months ago, some customers reported that they had observed that content of SXS versions that have not been approved appeared in productive PI sheets, which was quite a very critical situation. And it was long time not clear what really the root cause of this problem was, because it seems to appear very rarely and randomly. But we were able to fix, at least identify the root cause of the error, and we provided a fix that is part of this SAP Note. So it's also linked. You can directly jump to the note here from the presentation slide that I will then convert into a PDF file and provide for being viewed. So this, let's say, this critical situation is fixed. Nevertheless, we had several discussions with our customers, and there have been some requirements that result from this problem, though it appeared quite very rarely. So one requirement that we identify is that it would be good to provide additional ways to detect and prevent the usage of unapproved SXS versions. So just at distinct points in the business process, provide, let's say, the possibilities to execute additional checks that may detect such unapproved SXS versions. And another point which was not realized so far is that once you have opened an SXS reference node, any information about the SXS version that was used as a copying template during explosion or during opening is gone. And here also the request or requirement was that it should be able that we can easier identify which SXS version really has been used at this point in time when the SXS reference node was exploded. And another thing that we discovered, you are quite familiar that You can change the statuses of SXS versions from in process to released or to approved and released, and currently there's no possibility to create so-called change documents to get, let's say, a historical view on, let's say, the life cycle or the approval of the SXS versions. And here also the resulting requirement was that it should be possible to activate the change document creation for those, to record those status changes. So we came up with that, and we provided a new note. It's just mentioned above here, and this note contains a couple of things that should fulfill these requirements. First of all, we provided a new database table that is able to store the SXS version data for SXS reference nodes, and the important thing here is the data is stored once you open or explode an SXS reference node. And also, if you say you work with in a productive environment, and then you generate, or let's say, create a production process order, and then those SXS reference nodes are exploded. And once then, when you create a productive control recipe, then let's say also it's clear which SXS version has been taken to. I will also just show you the basic structure of this database table. So it's also automatically filled. The second thing that we offered is we use CRM status management technology for handling the status changes of the SXS versions. And this framework provides the possibility to activate the creation of change documents. And by default, in our standard coding, this activation is not executed. So we won't write any change documents when the status of an SXS version is changed. You might know that once we release an a standard XStep in our XStep repository, release or approve and release it, that we then start writing XML change documents. Those XML change documents, they are related to the content of the XStep tree that's part of the SXS version, the standard XStep. And it is completely different from creating change documents for handling status changes. But now this is possible. So we have a body method, I will show you this later on, that in the standard shipment does not activate the change documents, because also creating change documents has an impact, or can have an impact on the system load and performance. So we just keep it in our standard as it was before, so we don't create change documents. But it's quite easy to activate this change document creation. And the most important part, even if we are in the opinion that we really found the root cause and fixed the problem, so you should never ever have this constellation that unapproved SXS versions are used during opening and exploding SXS reference nodes. We provided additional consistency checks, and they are also described in this SAP Note. So you can implement the SAP Note. And I just want to give you a brief update of where those additional consistency checks can be executed. So I'll just do something here. Okay, first thing is I will just briefly go through, let's say, this business process chain. If you create XSteps, and you have the possibility to also check the XStep tree data for consistency. And if your XStep tree contains SXS reference nodes, as it mostly does, you should also be able to execute consistency checks in the beginning. There's nothing implemented yet in standard, but we provided the body methods that we'll see in a couple of seconds. We have the second step where you are able, if you're in the XStep editor, when you generate the control recipes from the XStep data. And in this case, also the SXS references that are not opened are opened again, are opened. And here it's also possible to, well, it makes sense to have a consistency check here. The third part where we thought it would also be good to have additional checks, or the possibility to check, if you like, is when you send the control recipe, when you download the control recipe or control instruction. Because, say in theory, it could be that you have generated and saved the control recipe, but it could somehow take time until you send the control recipe. And say also, it's not the standard case, but it could be that you have some changes that would require that a new SXS version is released and also taken into productive usage. And at this point in time, we should have the chance to check if the SXS version that was used as copying template for the exploded SXS reference nodes is still the valid one. So we haven't had any possibility to execute such checks here. So we also provided body methods. And the last business process that we want to support with additional checks is also the way when you open the PI sheet in the electronic work instruction in transaction CO60 or CO60XT, that you then also can check, hey, I started the PI sheet, is the basis, the building blocks that we use for the PI sheets, are they still valid? So if we can just, a second. So the first body method is called do custom semantic check. This method is processed when you execute the context menu in the maintenance, the main XStep editor, when you mark the XF3 root node. The second one is named do custom check and SXS copy. This check is always processed when you have the part that the content of an SXS reference node is created based on an SXS version. And so the third one is the one that we that you can implement when the control recipe is sent. So it's named do custom check CRI dispatch. And the last but not least, the third one is the one that is processed, this body method, when you start transaction CO60, mark one of the work instructions or PI sheets, and then go into maintenance or maintenance mode. So the note that I mentioned before, it contains a detailed information on what to do, what's also the purpose and the meaning of those extensions. I will just briefly go into a backend system and show you a little bit more details on this. Okay. So I promise you I won't be that technical today. Okay. We just, if you implement the node, or if you implement a support package that contains the node, you will see a new enhancement spot that contains this so-called business add-in body. So this body consists of an interface and also of a fallback class. This fallback class is used as an example class, and you might be familiar with also the additional bodies that we introduced for the destination sequences. We provided methods that make sure that if you implement the node that nothing really changed, so the methods of the body are not executed. Okay, I will just briefly go to some of those methods. First method that has to be implemented is if you want to have a change document creation for recording the status changes of SXS versions, then you have to implement this method. And the only thing that you have to do is not to clear this exporting parameter. It's also, let's say, commanded here in those statements. You have just to set it to active, and then at this point in time, when you change the status of an SXS version, the corresponding change documents are created. There are also additional information with regards to how to display those CRM status change management documents. Currently, we don't provide functionality to display them, but it's quite easy to use the function modules that the CRM status management provides to, and also we have some brief sentences in our SAP Note that describe which function modules you can use for this purpose. Here is one method that has to be also overwritten in your custom implementation, because hey, in standard we don't allow the functionality of the extended checks. So the only thing that you have to do is create your own implementation of the body, inherit from the sample class, and just override this method, set it to ABAP true, and then you get also the possibility to execute the several of those custom checks if you like to. You don't have to. You can just do so. Okay. This method is used when you let's say download the control recipes. And there's something important I want to stress out. If we want to execute those validity checks, consistency checks on content of XSteps and SXS versions in the business processes that handle the sending and downloading of control recipes and the maintenance of the PI sheets, then you don't have a direct relation or direct access to the XStep data from these applications. This is also due to the fact that at the point in time when when the control recipe is generated and then sent, the only linkage that you have that points you to the XStep tree data is the root node ID and the control recipe destination in the header entry of the control recipe. So you don't have a direct access to the XStep data. And for this purpose, if you want to execute those checks, when you work with the control recipe, you have to at least to get access to the XStep data that is corresponding. So that's meaning the XStep tree data that belongs to the root node, to the root ID, and also to the destination. So you know that we create control recipes and an XStep tree based on the tree itself, defined by the root ID and the control recipe destination. And for this purpose, we defined a method that's also part of this sample implementation that allows you to get the data of the reference nodes that belong to the control recipe destination, which is also important if you want then to check the version. If we say, okay, I want to check if the version that was used is still valid. So this we also added. Here it is not commented out. The custom check during SXS copy, we don't have any implementation in the standard. So this implementation is called after the system determined the valid SXS version. When an SXS reference node is exploded. Valid SXS version means at the key date when the SXS reference node is exploded or is opened, that the validity time interval of the SXS version fits into it, so it has to cover the key date, and this was, let's say, the problem that we had with checking the status, and this SXS version has the proper status. Proper status means if we create productive control recipes that at least in control instructions that this SXS version is in status released, or if you use the, let's say, approval scheme, that is approved and released. Otherwise, the system won't find an SXS version that fits to, and then it will stop generating of the control recipe and control instruction with an error. So that's it. And if you like to have additional checks, in addition to the check that I described before, then you can implement the method to be really on the safe side. But in standard, I would say it should not be necessary to do so. But if you like, you can do so. Okay. Another check that we have is when we start CO60 or CO60 XT, the maintenance of PI sheets. Here also it's nearly the same situation. you need to get at least data of the corresponding SXS reference nodes that have been used to define the content of this PI sheet. And here also this new method comes into the game. So we also see in standard nothing really happens even if you would activate those methods. Okay, and custom semantic check, last but not least. These are also the possibility to check the SXS reference nodes, also due to the, let's say, at least in accordance with the additional check parameters that you would like to have. So, and briefly, I will then also stop this. Here's the method that allows you to get the reference, the information about the SXS reference nodes that are relevant. Relevant means that are part of the XStep tree, and they belong to the same control recipe destination that was used to create the control recipe, control instruction, or the browser-based PI sheet. And also, it's quite, let's say, very. It does not contain that many lines. What the system really does, it identifies the XStep tree, it loads the XStep tree, and then it just executes a search by defining search parameters and getting back those SXS reference nodes that fulfill the criteria that I just mentioned before. So it's quite simple, and it's also based on standard coding. But we thought it would be good to have at least this method because it might be a little bit tedious to get all, let's say, the information to build such a method by yourself. Okay, so quite the technical part. So I hope that these additional possibilities allow you at least, if you really need it, to say also identify, say, also similar problems quite early and to handle them at the beginning and not at a very late point in time. Well, a couple of minutes ago I just also said that there might be a time delay between the generation of a control recipe or control instructions and the sending, but we know from most of our customers that in general there is not a huge time delay because it's mostly done, let's say, in sequence and in an automated way. So let's say this is, I would say, hypothetic, but it's a case that really would happen rare. Let's say the main thing that might be worth to check it is when you have a delay after the download, let's say the sending of a control recipe, and the maintenance of the corresponding PI sheet. But this is, let's say, the icing on the cake. Okay, so I do say thank you. And if you have a question concerning this functionality, then feel free to ask.
I have no question really, but it seems like you're cleaning up quite a bit for this, solving this problem, and relating to S4 and whether this will live on. It seems like this will live on.
Mm-hmm. So also with regards to if you talk about S4 and S4 HANA on premise, and also say if you do let's say some of these corrections. And also those bodies, they're also available in S4.
Yeah.
So we do, let's say, an upward and also a downward to a distinct enhancement package. I think we stop at enhancement package 5 currently.
Okay, are there any other questions for other topics? Not the case? Really? Okay.
I have one thing that I'm sort of working on. I haven't been to these sessions for a long time. I started in 2009 following these sessions, but we're changing from the old Mettler Toledo OPC bridge, and there was a URL displaying the actual weight of the scale, and we're changing to Kepware. For the connection, but now we're getting a delay in the display of the numbers in our SAP screen because we built our own little Java code. I don't know if anybody has an experience with the.
I mean, I was at the beginning when we started the time in consulting to do the Wayscale consulting solution, and we did it with the Mettler Toledo bridge, as you have done it. And there, I think and there, I think it was really very close to the data source. So it was on that little bridge. There was also that web server with the Java applet. Yeah. So I think that was very close. So the lag and latency was very minimal. Yes. So it's if you sort of stretch these things apart, you need to work on, I don't know, what network, or I don't know. So that's out of our realm, so of expertise, really.
The distance is still the same, technically. Or,
but I know, but
we were trying to replicate this applet sort of but on the SAP side. Because it should be possible to have the feed of the value directly into SAP, but we have to see how it goes.
I don't know. Maybe Uwe, do you want to tell a little bit about our Pico integration stuff? Maybe
we have Pico. Yeah, we have that planned connectivity. We have
the one with the ERP integration, so directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have ERP, and we have a server with the Pico, as you say, and with Kepware centrally in the same data center as we have. And then at the factory, there's another Kepware installation connected to the scales. That's the layout we have.
And that's where your Java applet is running, and this is what you embed in the PR sheet.
The Java applet we have it in a SAP screen.
Yeah, but the Java applet is running really at that local server, which is connected to the scales.
No, we have not. We haven't. It's within SAP now. We created it, recreated in SAP.
Maybe that's the issue, because I mean the graphic stuff, the real applet to show the data. I have the feeling that there it's important that web server or the Java applet has to be real close to the data.
Okay.
So that it's real fast. So that's sort of what my impression was always that time. I'm not ruling out that there are different ways to make it fast, but
okay. Yeah.
Probably that's what the change was. Huh?
Okay. Yeah. We have to think about it. If anybody has done something similar, please shout.
You can post that question maybe also on the Google Plus community if you want. Maybe there's somebody who answers. Another question? Uwe and we don't mind if you have more time for other things to do, but feel free.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's not the case, then we finish up. So thanks a lot anyway to listen again. I hope it was useful for you. If you've got any wishes for the future, any suggestions, please send them to me or Uwe. So maybe we can think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So until then, so it will be again in roughly 2 months. We might have some rescheduling going on, but I will get you posted with my email sending as usual. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.